Welcome filmmakers, fans, and friends to Indie Cinema Showcase, your #1 source for filmmaking, conventions, and everything in between. I'm Christina Carmona.
And I'm Jeremy Carpenter. Together, we'll be bringing you the best and brightest that Florida has to offer with focus right here in Central Florida.
In today's episode, we'll be speaking with filmmaker Blake Cortes and checking out his teaser trailer to the documentary ARTE es VIDA, Keepers of Heritage.
Ooh, nice. We will also revisit some of our past events and then check out what films you should see before you die.
All right, let's get things started with our Show Us Your Shorts film. ARTE es VIDA, Keepers of Heritage is a documentary that follows Puerto Rican artists as they share their stories through painting, sculptures, and more. From the Diaspora exhibit in Orlando to museums across the U.S., their journey is a powerful tribute to resilience, culture, and creativity. And it's directed by Blake Cortes.
Desde tiempos históricos, Puerto Rico era considerado la llave de las Américas.
It brought me to understand who I was, who I've been all of my life.
Siempre ha sido un punto de encuentro para diferentes culturas.
And if that's my heritage and it's your heritage, then we have a connection.
We are happy people, a joy people, full of brown coconut, mango fruit, and love juice that falls on us wherever we go. Do-loo-loo, la 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 la.
La raza puertorriqueña se ha nutrido de toda esta historia de resistencia y de supervivencia. Y eso es lo que hace que la expresión artística del puertorriqueño sea tan contundente y tan cargada de emoción.
When you start sketching and looking for answers, it's solving problems. And when you're actually painting, I'm enjoying it. Even the problems are enjoyment.
Podemos expresar cosas que no se dicen con palabras, pero se trabajan con el color y la forma.
Art is out there. You just gotta open up and use your hands and your mind to be able to create your own thing, you know?
It's something that you can describe like words, but for me it's wellness too.
Definitely, I want to be part of that because it's very important for us, because we are artists, but we are Puerto Ricans.
Nosotros tenemos tanto que dar y tenemos tanto por lo que sentirnos orgullosos que deberíamos estar celebrándonos unos a otros en lugar de estar compitiendo entre nosotros mismos.
Our next guest began his career studying filmmaking in New York. His career and family brought him to sunny Florida. His storytelling transcends mere filmmaking, delving deep into the intricacies of the human condition. Projects such as the award-winning short film Red Lipstick in 2023, Art Docs TV in 2024, and The Lost Son, also in 2024, serve as testaments to his directorial prowess, unraveling the complexities of identity, desire, and the societal norms with poignant grace. So, for today's Industry Insight, we sit down with Blake Cortes.
All right, everyone, in the studio with me today, I have Blake Cortes, filmmaker. Yeah?
Yeah, I guess you can say
Yeah,
that.
you're a filmmaker. All right, so
I
you...
tell myself that. I mean, I leave it to everybody else. I know. Yeah.
So I could hear it, and I'm from there as well. You're from New York.
Yes, born and raised.
Born and raised in New York, from Brooklyn.
Yes,
I'm from the Bronx. We can still be friends.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm
boom,
not
boom.
a Yankees fan.
No, that's all right.
I let it ride.
We'll put that one under the carpet, under the red carpet.
Yeah, okay, that works.
All right, so tell me about that, your work. How did you end up in this industry?
I think like most people, I started like as a kid making movies like on video cameras.
Yeah.
And I had some friends of mine who lived next door to me, and them with their cousins were always making movies. And I was like, oh, people can do that. So I kind of started working with them, and then I was like, hey, I begged my father for a video camera for
The JVCs,
Christmas.
right?
It was a JVC.
I know, I had one.
It was like an RCA.
Okay,
right?
same thing. Right.
Very bad. It looked terrible.
Yeah.
But like once I got to do that, I started making like little music videos, and I just like my own movies. I had like G.I. Joes that I would like put strings on them and kind of just like walk them.
I love
and
that.
And they would like set them on fire and stuff. And,
yeah.
Like, in their own like little cases. It was weird, but
that's cool. But that's that's how you start. That's how you start. I love that. I love that you've kept true to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
This is it, and then this is why you're here.
Yeah.
So, tell me about Red Lipstick and the inspiration.
Red Lipstick was, I don't know, one day I was just driving home, I think, and I thought, hey, it would be cool to like write a short film about this woman who just like gets her revenge. Because a lot of times, like, women in films is like, oh, like, damsel in distress.
Right.
So it's like, how about if the damsel in distress was like, no, I'm not having it anymore. So that was kind of the idea, and I wrote it probably like an hour or two. And it was just one page.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like about 5 minutes long, but it did a few different festivals, won a couple awards, and then I put it on YouTube, and it had like, it hit 5,000 views within like the first 3 or 4 months. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess people like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're also doing faith-based films?
Yeah, the Red Lipstick was the first one.
First one, okay.
Yeah, and then the kind of, I kind of try to dig more deep into my faith. So I was like, let me try to tell those stories, because there's tons and tons of them in the Bible and all over the world.
And they don't have to be told in the same way.
Exactly. I was tired of seeing like faith-based movies that just look terrible. And it's like, if the job is to bring someone closer to God, why are you gonna make something that nobody gonna watch?
Right.
Make it interesting, make it look good.
And something that we can all resonate with, right?
Yes,
so I feel like when you take those stories and kind of make them day to day, it feels different, and we realize like, oh, this is a story that's happened to me, or
That's exactly how it was.
That's
and the
wonderful.
People in the theater were like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it's hitting somebody.
I love that.
Yeah. So
it only takes one. For me, when it comes to making films, like if you have one person that's like inspired or it's done something for them, you've done your job.
One person.
That's all it takes. Yes,
right,
yes.
I just put it on YouTube probably like maybe a couple weeks ago, and it's like almost 700 views already. So it's like,
that's amazing.
Okay, it's no 5,000.
But that's all right.
But if one person out of those 700 people were like, I wonder.
Yeah.
Then I kind of did the job.
You absolutely did. And docs versus narratives, how do you go about doing those processes? What's your process like going between something like a real documentary versus a narrative?
Well, with the narrative stuff, it's a little easier because there aren't many guidelines.
Yeah,
I could just kind of play in the sandbox. When it comes to like a documentary style, it's like, okay, I have to look for a story that I want to see more of.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody else is going to want to see more of it, but if it starts with, if I'm interested in it, I'm pretty sure more people will be interested in it also.
Right.
So that's kind of how I started to like kind of dive into that, which has kind of taken the career in a totally different world than I even thought it would go. But like, I'm really starting to like the idea of telling the stories, like showing a light on the stories that don't get
told.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those. The best stories are sometimes the ones we happen upon. Some things that happen to us.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to be able to tell that. How has being in Florida shaped that for you, like filmmaking in general?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. It's been different because what I was so used to, like the stories I would have written when I was living in New York,
very different,
aren't the same than the ones I would write here. When I was in New York, I was single and alone and running around, and now it's like I'm married with kids. So it's like I have to also think about that.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, what would my kids would be proud to be like, oh, my dad made that,
Right, right.
Even if it's terrible.
Yeah,
He's like, it's not a good movie, but hey, he made it, So it's a different view of how the world works. Because you're from New York, so it's a very like go.
It's a different world, completely, and it's amazing because it's within the same. It's it's a 3 hour, 2.5 hour plane ride, and it's just a different life, a different way of thinking.
And out here, it's like being out here for so long, it's kind of changed the way my brain works. So when I go up there now, it takes me a few hours to like adjust to it.
Yeah.
I have to like go into like this, okay, go, hurry mode.
And what's next? What's next for you? What do you got on your plate?
Well, right now we're just finished up shooting a documentary that's called ARTE es VIDA, which is Art is Life, and it's based on this group of Puerto Rican artists that came together. Most of them are based out here in the Orlando area, and they came together in 2008, I believe, and their goal was to shine a light on Puerto Rican artists and art, and because they felt like it don't get the respect and love that it deserves.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make it into this very big museum in Puerto Rico, because a lot of them have never shown in Puerto Rico. Wow. And the name of the museum is La Museo de las Americas, and last year in September, they got to finally exhibit there.
Wow.
So it was this big ceremony. I flew out there to Puerto Rico, got a bunch of stuff, we filmed the ceremony, and that's like, you know, like you spend so much time putting blood, sweat, and tears into this thing that you want to get there, and then you finally get there.
Yeah.
And to be able to capture that, like the ending of the story.
And you realize it's not just about you, it's about everybody in the process, and that's what makes it so much better.
It is, and so many of the artists are like, man, we're so grateful that you're doing this. And I'm like, I'm grateful. I was like, I'm grateful that you're allowing me to tell the story, because at first I was going to do like a small mini documentary, but the story was so grand.
It grows.
I was like, there's no way I can tell this story in like 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just go for the feature. And I pitched it to them. They were like, we always wanted to do this.
I love that. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's wonderful. Where can we find more information about your work or where it's going next?
Well, you can find more information on my Instagram, which is Blake Cortes DP. And then for the documentary, it's going to be arteesvida.net, which is ESVIDA. And it's going to be all the information there. The film is being worked on, and it's going to be beautiful. And
I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to represent for all my Latinos and everything.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here. You've been amazing.
Thank you. You're doing pretty good yourself, too.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Make sure y'all get that. Yeah. You leave that in. All right, guys, stay tuned because there is more to come. Want to be a guest on the show, promote your project, or have your film featured? Visit our website at indiecinemashowcase.com. You can also catch past episodes while you're there.
And don't forget, you can also support the show by following us on our socials. Facebook at ICS TV, and on Instagram and X as well at ICS TV Show. And if you'd like to reach out to us directly, shoot us an email at icstv@yahoo.com.
ICS Fun Fact. Woody Harrelson is known for playing dark, twisted characters, but his real-life story is even wilder. His father, Charles Harrison, was a contract killer who got 2 life sentences for assassinating a federal judge. He even claimed to have shot JFK, fueling tons of conspiracy theories. And in a strange twist, Woody later starred in A No Country for Old Men, based on a book where a character mentions a hit on a judge.
Welcome back. Now it's time for our segment we like to call On Location with ICS. In this episode, we revisit a special episode we did featuring musical icon Larry Davis and learned how he, a self-taught musician, got to play and produce some of the greatest artists and bands, all while achieving platinum and gold records along the way.
It was the sound that defined a decade. From Saturday Night Fever to Studio 54, the disco craze brought us such artists as ABBA, the Bee Gees, Blondie, James Brown, Earth, Wind & Fire, and so much more. Born into a musical family, our next guest taught himself how to play music on the streets of Philadelphia while listening to jazz records given to him by local producers.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alana Phillips and I'm sitting here with Larry Davis. He is a musician and music arranger. You probably know some of his music from working with the Village People YMCA to Lowrider. And it's so nice to see you, Larry. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, what inspired you to get into music?
It was always around the neighborhood I grew up in.
Yeah.
Across the street from me was Philly Joe Jones. A lady on the 3rd floor sang with Joe Cocker, sang background with him. I would see his tour bus come and drop her off. She was beautiful, beautiful black lady with the long, I never seen a lady with the long black hair and the mini skirts.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty heavy. So one day I go over there and they say, hey, young guy, here's a Miles Davis album. Listen to what do you play? And they gave me a Miles Davis album. I mean, these were top jazz guys at the time, so I started playing. Kind of, that's inspired me to get going.
So you started in jazz and then?
Any kind of music.
Okay.
And my family's music. My mother was a singer in the USO in the Army.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how she met my dad. She was singing overseas. And
he was in the Army?
yeah, and he
Oh.
looks up at her and says, I'm going to marry you.
That's so romantic.
That's how I came out.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so cute.
My grandfather's from Africa. He played saxophone. He always had instruments everywhere. Saxophones on the wall,
Yeah.
pianos. Everything was in his house.
So what was your first gig?
Ooh. This guy in our neighborhood was a manager for the group called The Emotions. They sang with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, okay.
He always had bands up in his clubhouse rehearsing.
Yeah.
And we would walk past there, and one day, I hear you're a trumpet player, come on up. And he was doing, this guy had a record out called The Horse at that time. It was a big hit, Cliff Nobles. He says, I need a horn section to come travel with me. I was 13 going on 14. My mother was like, he's just a baby. But the manager said, we'll take care of him. And that was my first big tour.
And
we traveled in a Volkswagen bus all over with this guy.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And you also worked on Lowrider. You want to talk a little more about
That was when I was in junior high school.
Oh, okay.
Our science teacher and the great drummer, jazz drummer Tony Williams taught junior high school.
Yeah.
He was a science teacher. One was a phys ed teacher. And they said, we have a studio. You're a good young trumpet player. We want to take you on a trip to see how the pros do it. Wars in town.
Yeah.
We want to take you over there and meet them. It was called the studio called Delight, or I forget the name of it. It was a pretty big studio at that time. And we go there, and they're working on songs, and they're working on Lowrider. They had already written it, but they didn't have a musical hook on it yet. And I'm in the corner because I'm just happy to be in there. I'm sitting on the floor. Da 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 da, and the harmonica player Lee Harvey comes over, Lee Oswald comes over and he starts playing it with me. He says, I like that. Da da. And they said, come on, what you got, Lee? And he comes and he plays the line,
Yeah.
and they use it. I'm too young to say, hey, that's my line they're using, because it really wasn't. I'm in junior high school.
Right.
13, 14 years old.
Wow, that's amazing.
And 20-something years later, this lawyer gets me royalties for it.
Yeah. So now every time we hear, it's
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
pretty amazing. That's pretty
Conan,
George Lopez.
George Lopez, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
iconic song for sure. So
Yeah.
congratulations to that. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Tell me more about Gypsy Lane.
Gypsy Lane was the name of our local band.
Yeah.
When Jacques, the producer of the Village People, Ritchie family came to town.
Yeah.
He wants the Philly sound. So he comes to Philadelphia and he says, darling, I want the Philadelphia music sound on my music. I want to produce here. Who are the best guys? So we weren't the best guys. We were the lower guys at that time. So he gets the best guys, but they didn't work out too much with his flamboyant style.
Yeah.
So he says, I want someone else. I want some from the street. I want a rough edge. That's us.
You were the rough edge.
We were the rough edge. So he comes down to our rehearsal hall, which was a barbershop we made into a rehearsal hall. And he comes in with the mink coat on. Darling, I hear you music. I'm going to use you for music. Let me hear you play.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm going to take you to Europe. First, we're going to go to New York, to the Waldorf Astoria, practice for a month. Then we're going to go to York, France, Italy. And we said, yeah, right.
Right.
See ya. 2 weeks later, the tour bus comes. We're in New York, taking off from New York airport over to France.
Look at that.
And next thing you know, we recorded the Ritchie family, Village People, Patrick Juvet, Felicia Rashad, which was then Felicia Willis. She was the Cosby lady.
Yeah.
And many other artists. He had about 10 artists on his label at that time.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know to ask for credit, but luckily they put the Gypsy Lane name on the back of all the Village People albums, besides the name that says, thanks to Gypsy Lane Band, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get any royalties, but we did get credit, which was pretty good.
Disco was now everywhere, from clubs like Studio 54 to movies like Car Wash, Thank God It's Friday, Fame, Can't Stop the Music, and Xanadu.
I finally got to get a chance with the Philly International Records, where I was up there doing, finally arranging with the, whatever groups they had come in, I would beg for the crumbs.
Okay.
Because I was the young guy coming in. So they had the main producers and arrangers there, but every once in a while it would be, hey, we got another song, we need extra person to do it. And I finally got a chance to maybe arrange for the OJs, Patti LaBelle, Lou Rawls. I did some
I think I read something about Bunny Sigler as well.
Bunny Sigler was the guy who got me in.
Okay.
He is my mentor.
Yeah.
Without him, I would have never made it in.
Tell me more about working with Bunny.
Bunny was pretty incredibly, the most talented guy I've ever known. A born songwriter, talented, he could be anywhere. And he always taught me, the one lesson he taught me was, I still say to anybody today, never just sell a song or a product, sell yourself. And that was a lesson he taught me. And he lived his life like that. We did Vanessa, what's the lady who won Miss America, Vanessa Williams?
Yeah, right, okay.
We done just tons of guys. Anybody he produced, he let me come in as his left arm.
Yeah.
You know, he says, Larry, don't mess up, because when I'm out partying, you got to be in there working, you know, because I want to party too. But
absolutely.
In 1978, Larry was hired by the band Instant Funk as they recorded the single I Got My Mind Made Up, You Can Get It Girl, which was later included in their self-titled sophomore album, which was later certified gold.
So who were some of the people that you worked with in Instant Funk?
Okay, when Instant Funk kind of hit it big, our first big tour, we toured with the Commodores first. That's right, I forgot. We did the college circuit with the Commodores before Lionel Richie even came out front. He was singing, they were doing Brick House and Machine Gun. We did the college tour, then we moved up above the college level and we started touring with the Barcades. It was called the Funk Bands at that time, Barcades, Confunction, all that kind of stuff. And then we finally got our biggest tour, was opening for Rick James and Prince. And Prince just had his first album out then, it was For You, and he just put out the album with Sexy Dancer and all that stuff. It didn't hit yet.
Okay.
So when we started the tour, Rick James was the headline, then Prince, and we opened up. By the end of the tour, those two were feuding because Prince blew up, and he became the headliner, and Rick James, they wanted to put him in the middle. So they kept squeezing us on the stage to like, where we didn't, because they were fighting for stage space because they wanted to be big. So, we traveled with Casey and the Sunshine Band, of course.
Oh, cool, okay.
And we traveled with Alice Cooper. We did some stuff with him when we did Soul Train and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you look at, you can find clips of all that stuff back in on TV.
Yeah.
Then we moved on, and came down here to come with TK Hot Productions.
So that's what brought you from Philly to...
Yes, I came down here then. And at that time, TK, the owner of it, Henry, produced James Brown. He was the first guy to get James Brown out of jail and produce him at that time. So I got to work with James Brown and a lot of the artists that TK, he was doing his sons at that time. He had a group called the JBs, James Brown's son,
Yeah.
and they got me to help arrange that. And he was doing, Tito Puente was at that studio. Lots of big artists came to India, the Latin artists. Freestyle and all of that was really bubbling at that time, so I had to readjust myself. And some of the first groups we worked with was a young girl group we founded, Dateland Mall, called La Trim. And then we wrote the album Cars with the Boom,
Yeah.
which really went pretty big. And at that time, we were doing another group called the Gucci Crew. They had Whoa, Sally, that girl, they had I-95. There was lots of big records with them. And then finally, Hot Records merged with this guy from Europe. We were tied with this company, the owner knew him, and he sent all his projects to us, and one of the first projects he sent was the sports theme. Y'all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. It didn't sound quite like that, but I put that little line on it, and next thing you know, that's played at all the arenas.
Oh yeah, that's a classic right there.
I wish I get some royalties for that, but
Yeah,
you know,
really.
hey, still happy to be a part of it.
Cool. Is there a website or any social media?
Yes,
that
you
we
can go to gypsylaneband.com and you'll see our name there. We're kind of connected with Instant Funk Village people, blah, 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 anybody we kind of played with. and you can find us there.
For our final segment, here's a film you should see before you die. This week's pick, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, directed by Michael Gondry and written by Charlie Kaufman. Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet star as ex-lovers who erase each other from their memories, only to realize what they truly meant to one another. Blending sci-fi and romance, the film expresses love, loss, and the fragility of memory. Released in 2004, it is a critical box office hit. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is rated R and is our must-see movie before you die. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of ICS. We want to thank Blake Cortes for sitting down with me, as well as Larry Davis.
Larry Davis, Blake Cortes. What a great episode.
I know, right?
I love that. I can't wait. We can get more guests. Bring them. Anyways, we hope you learned something new, saw something that you loved, or got inspired to get off your couch and go make a movie of your own. Who knows? It might be good enough for us to screen on the next Indie Cinema Showcase.
Don't forget to follow us on our socials, Facebook at ICS TV, Instagram at ICS TV Show, and YouTube at Indie Cinema Showcase.
And if you want a chance to have you, your work, event, convention, or film festival featured on ICS, send us an email right here at icstv@yahoo.com.
Until then, the set is closed, and as they say in the movie business, that's a wrap. See you next time. I said your line.